Stuart Dale runs a family business manufacturing uniforms and selling supplies for hospitality students and staff. It's a great market he's in, but struggles to find staff with the confidence to sell. Now, to help Stuart get the right people on board and keep them, Red Balloon's Megan Bromley dropped by with her tips.
Stuart, tell me about the history of Fraser and Hughes.
Fraser and Hughes was an older department store in the Darlinghurst area, and this was the menswear section. My family managed it from the late 1920s and then later went on to purchase it in the 50s. We started out basically a menswear store that developed into industrial gear when King G started, and then from there in the 80s we developed into hospitality only and manufacture the hospitality uniforms. And we have an online presence and do wholesaling, but we're mostly retail. And our big emphasis on our customers is to try and encourage them to buy our product as an apprentice and then keep them.
A customer for life.
Yes.
So from a people perspective, how many people do you have employed by Fraser and Hughes?
There's 19.
19 in total.
Yes.
And are they across part-time, full-time? What's the demographic?
All of the above. We've got full-time, we've got part-time, we've got permanent part-time, and we have outdoor workers. An outdoor worker is someone in the clothing industry that works usually from their home. And that's
so very flexible environment.
Yes.
Wonderful.
We're a small business. That's something that has to happen.
So what are your biggest people challenges at Fraser and Hughes?
At the moment, finding them with the skill in the manufacturing, the machinists. The next biggest challenge is retail. And retail, finding people with confidence, willing to talk to the customers.
So what's your current recruitment strategy for both of those?
If I'm looking for the sales person, I want to know the confidence in that person. And it's usually interview them and leave them on their own to see if they will come out and just talk to me.
Do you get them to do a little role play, a test run of selling the product to you?
No, I'll just go quiet and leave them in a position, a very nervous position, where they have to talk about themselves.
Okay. I think it could be a good idea to get someone else involved in the recruitment process, so you've got someone to bounce ideas off after the interview's actually happened. I'd also recommend having a group interview process where if you do have a role that you need to fill, you can invite more than one candidate in at the same time to get a feel how would they operate in a group environment, just not that one-on-one interaction. Sometimes if you make people too nervous, it can put them too far outside their comfort zone, and you're not going to get a really true reflection of who they are and how they might perform when they're actually on your shop floor.
Right, I can see that. Yes.
After the break, Megan shares her recruitment and retention strategy. Fraser and Hughes is a great little retail business, but is suffering from high staff turnover and a lack of punch in its sales team. Let's get some tips for turning all that around.
Stuart, what's your current turnover rate of people?
This year's going to be a tough year. It'll be around about 30%. Normally we don't turn over a lot, but we've had a number of part-timers and casuals finish university degrees, and they'll be going off and on to their new skills. Industry
standard is roughly around 10 to 20% across all industry across Australia. So given your 30%, I think it would be really important to make sure that you do have a recruitment strategy in line, ready to manage when that turnover is actually happening. I think one of the important things to remember is that turnover doesn't need to be a dirty word. People will leave your business, but it's about how prepared are you for when that actually happens. So with that, are you prepared for the recruitment phase that you need to go through for bringing new people into the business?
Never properly.
Okay, so some recommendations that I'd have in terms of making your recruitment process a little bit strategic is to establish a direct relationship with one or a few of the TAFEs around here in terms of having that constant feed of talent that you could potentially have coming through to the business. So just not when you need to recruit that you go out and find someone, but you're in an active state of building up a talent pipeline. So when you have roles that come up, that you're actually able to call people rather than needing to seek people all the time. One of the things I noticed on your website is that there's no careers link or no work for us. All you need is a simple email address for people to get in touch with you so you can really start to build up that talent pipeline. And have you ever taken the time to sit everyone down individually to ask them how they like to be recognised on an individual basis?
Went down that path probably around about 6 or 7 years ago. Have I been back down that path? No.
Okay, because I'd say if your recent turnover had been 30%, some of those people probably aren't here anymore. So in terms of making sure that your team is motivated, recognition's really important, and making sure that you find ways where people can actually grow in their roles. We have a statistic at Red Balloon that you should be recognising someone at least a minimum of 8 times per year, to making sure that they have that engagement back to your business and the engagement back to the performance levels that you need from them as well. Stuart, thanks for inviting me into Fraser and Hughes, and I wish you all the best with your people.
Megan is spot on there. Staff turnover doesn't need to be a dirty word if you're well prepared when staff do decide to leave. That means having a recruitment strategy in place and being prepared with training and developing a talent pipeline.